stream the trends, let the exploration run. Hip-hop beats, we're on the scene. Catch the buzz, live your dream. Yeah, I said the end, vibe high, it's GPTV1. Live stream the trends, let the exploration run. Hip-hop beats, we're on the scene. Catch the buzz, live your dream. Yeah, I don't feel me straight apply. Or when I'm stand up for the stone, I live my life. Been east to rich when east and east when I make it thighs. But the schoolies never bet for me, my dough is still for thighs. I'm the horn, niggas know they cute too, I keep out the bone. But let's get you know my me and miss be up the shown. And when I see your neighbors fine, you will stay up front. And if they got me know, then I you know I did the con. You up the icon, I see the fact. This scene I'm busy, but I hate I wake, so what I pack. I keep a searing in the rain, then I smoke as trash. And if I get keep a far, I know some planet, yeah. Taking trash to the sky from my reason to living. All the flu on the blend, that resetting me reeling. That's kicking out of love, I might never be willing. You shall never know what you I can never forget. Tune in, vibe high, it's GPTV1. Live stream the trends, let the exploration run. Hip hop beats, we're on the scene. Catch the buzz, live your dream. Yeah, I 7 in, vibe high, it's GPTV1. Live stream the trends, let the exploration run. Hip hop beats, we're on the scene. Catch the buzz, live your dream. Yeah, you know by now it's on the line of people, but you never know this name is Kanana sequel. Sticking fresh, taking down, so the side the needle. Put down, stay the time to line like you want the needles. And if you hate when I like the brown, it's like your cam in the ground till they coming now. But like I'm so fresh up and through the moose confused. And now I know what's up and noon and that was all for you. Say you never lose, takes it's not a Purricana. I was go go, he's not a like a bagel, drink your face. But I was thinking to his soul when y'all was by the cover. And now I rain, man, I gain like the May whatever. I say complain, flame mind, you gave me no restriction. This nap so hard, go within and never missing. Convinced that you need love me now, but sure and never tripping. It's the enemies of all, boy, yo, come and get tripping. Tune in, vibe high, it's GPTV1. Live stream the trends, let the exploration run. Hip hop beats, we're on the scene. Catch the buzz, live your dream. Yeah, I say the in, vibe high, it's GPTV1. Live stream the trends, let the exploration run. Hip hop beats, we're on the scene. Catch the buzz, live your dream.
Yeah, I'm back in the building. This is GPTV1 live stream, Monday edition. And I'm excited. Got a lot of stuff I'm going to unpack on this episode. Unfiltered. And I'm always excited to perform for the audience, for sure. You're stepping in the building. Click that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, click that like button, share this live stream. Like I said, I'm so super excited to be here. And for the past 3 days, I've been working on my documentary. I got a documentary coming out, and it's not coming out on YouTube. Won't be coming out on YouTube. It's coming out on other streaming platforms. So the past 3 days I've been working on that. It's coming together nice and lovely, feeling it. It's gonna be packed with a lot of information and a lot of stuff that's going on in this world out here. It's gonna be in that documentary. It's gonna be full length, at least an hour long. So be looking. Brian Kohberger Plea. Like to see what's going on in these other communities, see what's popping in their hoods. So other than that, then we'll do a quick update on the Diddy trial. And then another story just kept coming across my storyline. I seen it on the news today. These firefighters got ambushed. We're gonna look into that. And then we're gonna go to the Young Dolph trial update, because it's been pushed back. We're gonna cover that. Again, you in the building, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Before we get to all that, I want to go to this public announcement. Stay tuned, fam. About to have some fun. Welcome to the GP Inner Circle. What up, though, GP fam? I'm excited to announce that the GP membership is now officially active. This is your chance to step up and show your support in a way that truly matters. By joining the Inner Circle, you will unlock exclusive perks tailored just for the most dedicated supporters, because you deserve nothing less. But that's not all. The Super Chat feature is now live, giving you an even greater opportunity to engage with me and the community in real time. Your support fuels my passion and creativity, inspiring me to deliver the kind of fire content that only the GP fam deserves. So why wait? Join the GP membership today and be a part of something special. Let's elevate this community together, because when you thrive, we all thrive. Welcome to the inner circle. Your journey starts now. Much love. Yeah, I'm back. That's right, the GP membership. I got some good perks over there. You probably want to check that out, become part of the fam. We're going to have some fun doing that. And again, if you're feeling generous, you can hit me on my Cash App with a little something. I appreciate it. It keeps me thriving. And you want to get your name out there, get your social media popping, you can sign up to one of the GP membership. It's the top level. I believe that package costs $24.99. GP fam membership package, and promoting your social media pages come along with that. So it's about status right here. If you want to come over here, I'm all about giving you status. I want to make you feel special. Let's go to this Brian Kohberger. A lot of these cases out there have been very popular, been making a lot of headlines, and a lot of people paying attention to the Diddy case. The Karen Reed case was also another case that was getting a lot of publicity, but this case was too, and I have been following this. I said on the last live stream that I was going to start covering this, and then a bombshell came out that this guy say he wants a plea deal. Of course, I don't think the plea deal went into effect today, but he just done cave in on this, and the evidence is mounting up on him. And this is one of those things where he studies crimes, and he wanted to see, could he get away with this crime? But again, we're living in a digital age, and it's easy to track you down in a lot of ways. But I want to go to news report concerning this story right here. I've been following this from the beginning, and every now and then I check in on some updates. So I definitely have been following this. I said on other episodes, I watch a lot of court TV, and I see a lot of things play out in the court system. And this guy tried to fight it tooth and nail, you know. But let's go to this news report and see what they're talking about this plea deal. Let me let this commercial play out, and then we'll get right to it. All right, let me share my screen with you all. Yeah, here we go. Let's share this screen. Let me enlarge this. And let's see if we get some sound going on. Let's see what's going on.
Big question, why? I want to bring in Ashley Banfield, host of Banfield right here on News Nation. Ashley, you've covered this story also from the very start.
This lady be covering a lot of stories right here.
Nobody seems to have seen this coming. Are you as shocked as everybody else watching this?
Yes, I am.
Bombshell.
Not only in shock, I think I share with Brian a bit of sadness as well, because Elizabeth, you've done this job long enough to know that there's always two sides of a courtroom, and one side will be unhappy. It doesn't mean that justice doesn't prevail. This is a different...
It's never justice. You just got to take your loss. That's pretty much how it worked. I lost 2 nephews to murder, and it's a blow you had to take. And that was one of those things I've seen friends and buddies and stuff like that go through that. But when you go through it yourself, you know, it's a devastating loss.
Different kind of justice. It doesn't feel like justice for a lot of people. Sure as hell doesn't.
It's not just
feel like justice for Steve Gonzalez and his family.
You just gotta accept it.
The other families, they weren't all in unison on the death penalty being mandatory in order to feel whole again. They'll never feel whole. Many
That's what he's
didn't
trying to get over that death
at this
penalty
point because they weren't getting their kids back. So it's really hard on the Gonzalez family because they did not want this, and families matter. Prosecutors take into account what victims' families want and don't want. Chris Watts' victims' family members said, okay, Take death off the table. Let him plead guilty. Let him go
That's what it's all about. He's trying to avoid that death penalty.
behind bars for the rest of his life with no opportunity for parole and no opportunity for an appeal. And we're fine with it. But these families didn't all feel the same way. This is why I'm processing a lot at this point, just to strictly covering the
That's what I always say about these court cases. There's always two sides.
justice of it. I don't know that everybody's feeling justice.
Why, Ashley, would prosecutors make this offer, and why didn't they reach out to the families to tell them? It feels like, I mean, this is all breaking as we speak. The families are just now issuing these statements, but it sure sounds...
Families may not like it, but they don't be a part of the negotiations. Sometimes they'll let you know some updates.
It's like they weren't consulted. At least the Gonzalez family says it doesn't sound like they were.
So that's a tough one. Everybody operates differently. Every state operates differently, and then every jurisdiction within a state operates differently. I know that they've been at loggerheads at times with the Gonzalez family because they've been very vocal, and there's been this gag order. It's possible that we don't know. I reached out to Steve Gonzalez a little while ago. He's clearly processing a lot, but I haven't heard whether it is true. In fact,
prosecution
he didn't have
dropping death
consultation prior to this. I would have a hard time believing there was no consultation prior to the media, finding out about it. However, they don't.
Y'all read that? That's a tough deal right there. No possibility of getting out of there at all.
It is certainly difficult if they don't. I would think it's really goes against sort of the moral code of victims' rights to not be consulted, at least. Not that your consultation.
In other words, you fucked or cooked.
In your opinion is going to carry. That doesn't always happen, but certainly consultation is very important in this day and age in almost every jurisdiction I've ever covered. But I have to get with Steve to find out whether in fact he had a consultation, it was unsatisfactory, and the prosecution went ahead anyway.
Brian, the evidence against Brian Kohberger is overwhelming, and that might be an understatement. There was a massive amount of physical evidence, of digital evidence that all pointed to one person and one person only, and that was Brian Kohberger. It feels like to many, and I'm curious what your thoughts are, like a slam dunk case. Why wouldn't the prosecution want to bring this case?
Okay, well, first of all, I have sources who have told me that the family members were consulted, but it was a last-minute consultation. They have been led to believe all along that this thing was going to trial. They have booked Airbnbs for...
Hey, if it's a good deal, the prosecution gonna go for that. They got a lot of cases they got to try, so they do be trying to move to the next case.
3 months, they've got plans, they've taken time off work, they were told we're going all the way with the death penalty, and they were not told until the very last minute, not long before I found out that this was going down. So there was a consultation, but it wasn't a very good consultation.
That doesn't sound like a consultation. That sounds like we're letting you know this is happening.
Right, they'll let you know.
Yes, I think they
in some cases.
This is my take. They pretended to consult, but they had their mind made up. There were backroom negotiations happening, I believe, with the defense
what I just
since
say.
At least Friday. That's
family ain't being a part of the negotiation.
In terms of why the prosecution may want to do this. You know how it works when you get on death row. Even if they got a conviction, even if then at sentencing the jury said yes to death unanimously, there are people in Idaho who have been on death row for 30 and 40 years.
Yeah.
These families would have to go through all of this for decades. Some of the victims' parents may not even be alive when Brian Kohberger is executed.
Exactly. When you go on death row, they don't immediately execute you. You've been there for decades.
They would have to be reminded during all of the appeals, et cetera, et cetera. Also, there are
But your mind can turn in on you while you're in there, that's for sure.
surviving victims. Let's not forget about the roommates who are going to have
It's more like a slow death.
to testify and probably be, thrown under the bus by the defense and have to go through that. I'm sure that came into play with the prosecution. But I agree with Ashley. I am saddened for some of these family members because we have gotten to know them and they have been led along to believe.
Yeah, so that's a little news report on Brian Kohberger and That's a tough deal. I mean, it got to be an even switch all if you're taking the death penalty off the table. He didn't want to go through that death penalty, but he gets no chance at parole, and he will be in there for life. Only thing about that death penalty thing, like I just said, you be on death row forever, but he won't be on death row. Will he be in general population? That's another question. But he's gonna be among people like him. Once you get inside the prison system, I've never been in there, but I heard a lot of stuff. Once you get in there, you can't slick everybody in there. People in there just as slick as you, or even slicker. And then some people in there do admit to their crimes. Like they killed somebody, unalive somebody. They in there saying, yeah, I unalive somebody. So prison is one of those places where it's hard to out-slick other people. You in there with a bunch of people that's just like you. Antisocial behavior. So once you get inside there, the percentage of being antisocial actually goes up. The reason for that, because you sitting around a bunch of other people that's like that. But it's a slow death for this guy. He has no chance at parole. And if he did have that chance, he has no chance at appealing this case either. They say he can't appeal this case. But I've been following this case, and it's just a heinous thing that this guy decided to try to commit these crimes by studying criminology. Like he was enrolled in college studying this stuff. And there's no telling how many other documentaries he watched on, people that does it like serial way, unalive people in a serial way. Like dude up there in Brooklyn, Gilgo Beach trial, that guy, he definitely off the chain. Stepping in the building, listening to this live stream, or you may listen to the playback, click the subscribe button, click that like button. It helps spread the video around. I appreciate it. And also, I'm celebrating that I hit 700,000 views on this channel. Yeah, I need a clap for that one. I'm good. Do I got some claps on here? Yeah, I got a clap on here. Let me give me a clap for the GP channel. We're reaching 700,000 views. Congratulations, GP. We're marching straight to 1 million views. That's the goal right now. Get to 1 million views and to get to 10,000 subscribers. Pretty close to 8,000. For Brian Kohberger, this case has been getting major publicity, and I've been keeping up with it. He tried to fight this case tooth and nail. He tried that comes from him studying this knowledge. That's where it came from. But we live in a digital age where people can track you down. Just take a look at him. He just has a cold look about himself. And that's what he's going to be locked up with for the rest of his life. People with the cold looks. What do y'all think? Do y'all think this guy has a cold look? I do. I see a few people in here. Click that like button. I appreciate it. Feeling a little generous. Send something to my cash now. All right, let's move over to D. This case right here has created much debate. And most of us believe that this is not a RICO charge. RICO is supposed to be like racketeering. The first word of the RICO acronym is racketeering. And I don't see the racketeering that's involved in this. That'd be like him using Bad Boy Entertainment as like a gang or something. But what I may call what's going on right now, what I would call a RICO is the Big U. Big U, now that's a RICO. That's definitely RICO. He's been repping that Rolling 60 for 30, 40 years. 40 years easy. So there's a mountain of information out here showing that he's furthering criminal organization in the role of 60. And, they say he representing himself right about now, but I think Big U will fold. I do think he will help them solve some crimes down there. I do believe he will be giving up information. At that age, once he realized these people we've been down with, we've been representing for 40 years, turning on him. But with Diddy, I'm not seeing the Bad Boy Entertainment being this criminal organization. I just don't see that. There got to be some racketeering involved, and it got to be furthering the enterprise. But I just don't see that. What I do see is him sending people out to do all his stuff because he's a celebrity. He can't, when you want to get high and all that stuff, he can't pull up at the trap. That's P. Diddy, so he's going to have to send somebody there. So, as far as the RICO part of it, we just don't see that part. I don't see the criminal enterprise when it comes to this guy. But let's look up and see what's going on with Diddy. That's just my personal opinion, but it's a big debate. Let's be clear here. I'm not a big fan of P. Diddy, but on the GP channel, I don't be solving crimes. I'm not an investigator reporting. I don't do that. And I don't be wishing people to go to prison, you know what I'm saying? Even though some people belong in there. But a lot of people don't belong in there. I'm gonna go to TMZ with this one. I think TMZ kind of credible. I think they do a good job over there. I might not go to them first, looking for credible information. But I look at them every now and then. So let me share my screen and see what they're saying about Diddy on TMZ. Let's go. Let's get some sounds. That's that.
Already saying that Juror 25 cannot follow the judge's instructions. I think I know what that means.
It certainly sounds like most of the jury, 11 jurors, agree on what they want to do here.
At least on something. We don't know.
It could be just for one of the counts.
It could be for one of the counts. It could be for all of the
entire
counts.
case.
People are saying he may get found guilty on one or two of the things. It's the RICO part people really tripping on. Let's go.
It's weird that a couple hours in
that they already send a note, because that means they're not even, there's no need
feels
for
like
them to discuss anything. Like, we know this is what we want.
Feels like this guy's a holdout.
Right, and this one person is the holdout.
And so now the question, what does this mean?
We are not a traditional capture. We're completely unconventional. And my Wix website really has to capture the same magic.
That's good for Diddy.
The only thing I can think of is if there are 11 people on one side, and again, we're guessing this.
Who very quickly know what they want to do.
Because if there were 5, why would they single out this one if 4 others felt the same way?
Right.
So it seems like this one guy feels differently from everybody else, and the everybody else part has tried to convince this one guy. You got to look at the jury instruction, the judge's instructions,
right.
And the juror is saying, I don't care about the judge's instructions. At least that's the way the other 11 see it.
And it's not that he doesn't understand. We don't think it's that he doesn't understand the actual instructions.
Because you go by those instructions, they will be pleading guilty for this one.
Because what we know of his background from the jury selection process, he's a very educated man who's got a PhD in molecular biology. So
51-year-old white guy.
I don't think there's any.
I've so resisted guessing in this case because you'd never know.
But because it's this quick.
Yeah, I think everybody doing that.
It just feels like to me that this guy is saying, because it's the only thing that makes sense. I don't care what the judge is saying. I am not going to find Diddy guilty on whatever the charge is, whether it's racketeering or whatever else it is, because, for example, this feels like a bedroom police prosecution. It could be something that goes, this is called in the law, if this is the case, jury nullification, where a juror says, I don't care what
Right. All right. So that's a quick update on Diddy. One of the jurors is not, you don't want to comply with what the judge is saying. At least that's what TMZ is reporting. But we're going to see, I believe it's going to be a verdict sometime this week. The feds usually don't hold it up like that. But we'll see what's going on with Diddy in the near future, sometime this week. But right as of now, they're reporting one of the jurors is not complying, don't want to comply with the judge's directions. Here's another story I thought was interesting and intriguing. These firefighters were ambushed. While you're over here, you can stop by the YPTVONE store and buy you some merch from over there. I appreciate it. All this stuff helps the channel keep thriving, keep updating. Besides that, I'm gonna keep dropping content on y'all. This story, very interesting. And they found the suspect who was involved in this. I'm gonna go to that news report. Like I say, with GP, I'll be checking everything out. I'll just be trying to find everything popping in the hood. Let me share my screen. Share my screen with this little story. I look at current affairs too. He's smart over here.
Tragedy in northern Idaho. So police say a man deliberately set a wildfire with the
Idaho, y'all got some stuff popping up there.
intention of ambushing first responders, an ambush with bullets. In the end, 2 firefighters lost their lives, another firefighter wounded. That suspect has now been identified. This happening in the Idaho city of Coeur d'Alene, or just away from the city of Coeur d'Alene. In fact, we're now getting our hands on what it sounded like, those critical
I think they said this guy, Wes Rowley, started this fire.
moments for help from Central Dispatch. Listen.
They are reporting a brush fire going northeast.
Some law enforcement right now, there's an active shooter zone. Everybody shot up here. Law enforcement, code 3 now up here. Another Coeur d'Alene firefighter down, needs help immediately. We need law enforcement immediately.
Unimaginable. CBS News reporter Andres Gutierrez reports
Magic going to work today.
from that area. Andres, we know firefighters in these United States, when wildfires are more common, they're a part of the heartbeat of what it is to be an American hero. So many of our hearts sunk when we saw this story break yesterday. What do we know about the shooter? What do we know about the victims?
Let's start with
Well, we'll start with the shooter, Reed. Right now, there are 2 law enforcement sources that are telling CBS News that the shooter in this case is 20-year-old Wes Rowley. They believe that he came out here yesterday, began a brush fire as a way to lure these firefighters up here on Canfield Mountain. As you could see, heavily wooded, high slopes. He ended up taking a sniper's position. These firefighters ended up arriving as they would. They would assess the situation. Within 20 minutes of them doing so here on the scene, that's when the fire began. As you heard there in the introduction, it's just a chaotic scene. Those firefighters taking cover, others being wounded, 2 of them dying here on scene.
What's your motive? Then you turn around and commit suicide.
Being transported, officially being pronounced at the hospital, but they succumbed to the injuries out here. They tried their best but couldn't at the hospital. A third one underwent surgery, and he's still, though, fighting for his life as we speak. Then the search for the suspect began. Let me just tell you, it was chaotic not only for those firefighters, but for law enforcement trying to find this person.
Right.
You imagine 1:30 in the afternoon, pretty heavily wooded area, hikers out here, pretty popular hiking destination. And so besides flooding the area with law enforcement, they ended up resorting to technology. Everyone carries one of these, and this is tracking your position at all times. And so they ended up figuring out that there was a cell phone that had not moved from a certain location near the shooting as of 3:26 yesterday afternoon. And then at 7 o'clock, the police sent over a chopper with a sniper on board.
That's how they tracked him down.
and they saw the body of this 20-year-old, a rifle right next to him. The fire was moving in quickly, and so they ended up hoisting him onto the helicopter.
He was trying to burn himself up.
And taking him out of the scene there, because obviously they want to figure out whether he shot himself or if the exchange and gunfire that they initiated earlier in the afternoon was what took his life. That's still being determined. A medical examiner will...
Yeah. So it was a third one that was wounded and still trying to make it. I want to know what the motive is. I think we need to wait a couple of days and see if more information come out. Of course, they're gonna look at his background. They're gonna go to his social media pages. They probably do a search warrant on his house and search his room and all that type of stuff. He's probably living with his parents. Some family or something, but they're gonna do a search warrant, go to his home, and they're gonna look at his computer and look at his device. I think they said his phone was there, so they're gonna look into all of that. So we need to give this a few days and wait for more information to come out. But this is breaking news, bombshell, and again, just imagine going to work and going and running into something like this. Just imagine that. All right, I'm gonna move on to my next story. And pray for those families over there. Be this guy, Hernandez. Goldvin Hernandez. But before I jump into that one, take a small little break. Grab me something cool to drink. Y'all can grab y'all a snack. I'll be right back. I'm back in the building, fam. I'm back in the building. This is GPTVONE, live stream, Unfiltered. So far, I've covered Bryan Kohberger. He's going to do a plea deal. Covered Diddy. We're still watching for the jury on that one. And we covered the firefighters. We'll move on to Goldvin. This guy, Goldvin Hernandez, is awaiting trial for orchestrating Young Dolph murder. He supposedly or allegedly put together the hitman team. So allegedly, Duke put up the money and went to this guy. And this guy grabbed those other two, Straight Drop and Cornelius Smith. Put those two guys together. Straight Drop was trying to get a record deal. That's why he did it, allegedly. And Cornelius Smith was just a dude that was just around in the hood. They didn't know each other at all. Straight Drop and Cornelius Smith, the guys who actually did the hit, they really didn't know each other like that. They was out for the money. We brought all this stuff down. They tried to play little dude Cornelius Smith like a little junkie. They only gave him $800. He's supposed to get like 40 grand or something like that. I believe the whole entire hit was 100 grand, and Goldvin's supposed to get a percentage of that for putting it together. But when they committed the hit, they only gave him $800. And I believe when he got locked up, they paid for his lawyer. That's supposed to be his payment for the hit. All this stuff is allegedly, well, that's what Cornelius Smith. Those guys already been sentenced. And this is an uphill battle for this guy. Well, he went to court the other day, and the judge was getting on his behind, and then the judge says for his safety because his life is at risk. He supposedly left the county a couple of times, went out of town, celebrated his birthday or something like that. But the trial has been pushed back a couple of weeks. This is what this court appearance is about. So let me play this, see if y'all can hear this. Okay, let me share my screen then, so it's gonna play out like that. Instead of me reading it to y'all, I'll let it read it to y'all. Let me share my screen to share the news report. This is coming from Fox 13, Memphis. Let's play that.
The trial date for a man accused of organizing Young Dolph's murder was pushed back by a few weeks, according to court records. Hernandez-Govan is now set to go on trial August 18, 2025. His original trial date of July 28 is now a report hearing, records show. A reason for the schedule change was not immediately known. Related, Hernandez-Govan rejects plea deal in Young Dolph murder case. Govan had previously rejected a plea deal December 13, the last day for him to accept a deal by the state to plead guilty in the murder of the Memphis rapper. Govan was charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder among other charges. Related, man accused of organizing Young Dolph's murder makes final report date before trial. Young Dolph,
all right,
who's real.
So that's the news report coming from Fox 13. They pushed it back a few weeks, couple weeks, and I was saying his name backwards. His name is Hernandez-Govan. I was saying Govan Hernandez, but his name is Hernandez-Govan. And it's set for August the 18th, 2025. And the hip hop world has been waiting on this trial. A lot of people have been waiting on this trial. Let me stop sharing this screen. Yeah, a lot of people have been waiting on this particular trial. And a lot of people invested their emotions into this situation. So the hip hop world will be covering this. I don't know if it'll be on Court TV or something like that, but it's probably be shown locally in Memphis. And we'll be all looking for that. I will be covering that, and I will be standing on top of that one. So his trial starts August the 18th. Hope y'all got y'all something cold to drink. I had a blast here today with another GPTV1 live stream. Don't forget to click that subscribe button if you listen to the playback. I appreciate it. We're marching straight to 8,000 subscribers. I want to thank the new subscribers. I appreciate it. And my returning subscribers have been chiming in. And also, go check out my new playlist where I cover the underbelly of the money world. I got some good content on there. I'm going to load that one up. So, but on that note, y'all stay blessed out there, fam. And y'all have a good night.